everyone, welcome back to my kitchen tonight. My name is Lynn Wilson. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a regular, I'm so glad you're back. So we're going to chit chat a little bit about some items in the stockpile and why I no longer will store them in my stockpile. So why are we talking about not storing things in the stockpile when everybody else is talking about filling the stockpile? Well, a couple of reasons. Now, I'm not talking to anyone that has a larger family or feeds a lot of people. I'm talking about people of a family of 1 to maybe 3, 4. I'd say from 1 to 4, no more than that. You make a choice for yourself. As the rule of thumb goes, you do for you, I'll do for me. But I'm sharing my experiences with you because I like learning from other people. I like to learn, what did they do right? What did they do wrong? What could I learn from that? Sometimes I hear things and I'll go, no way, I would never do it that way. And other times I'm like, oh my word, I never thought of that. So many of you as my subscribers have given me some great tips of things to think about, whether it's a recipe or a way to store something, or I don't know, just everyday tips. And some of them, I've heard repeatedly, and then other times I'll hear it again and I'll go, oh yeah, I've heard that a few times. Why am I not, taking heed to that? So I've got a few things here, and I just want to talk quickly and briefly about why I'm not storing certain things in my stockpile. Let me show you some of the things I'm not, and then I'll tell you why. Pancake mix. Doesn't matter what brand. We're not talking about brands here. We're talking about items. Baking items. Things like Bisquick, muffin mix. Not necessarily pasta, but a macaroni and cheese with a packet in it. Crackers. Packaged items like this of soup. Packaged items like this of instant potatoes. Things like stuffing mix. And this type of Bisquick. Anything like this. So I'm talking about boxed items and packaged items. That's what I'm talking about. Why I will no longer store them in my stockpile. Now, to me, there's 2 types of storage. You have your everyday pantry that you go to on the regular, when you need something, that's where you go. And then you have your stockpile, which is like your overflow food. Your food for a rainy day, your food for the future. It's actually an investment. People talk about investing money in stocks and investing money in retirement. This can be part of your retirement. This can be part of your investment of your money. You paid for these items. So this is an investment for you. This investment will feed you and your family. This investment will keep you going for the future when you're hungry and you're out of work or your income is cut or anything like that. Now, why will I not store something like soup, potatoes, baking items, biscuits, things like that? Will I continue to buy these items? On the regular. I love them all. But here's what I have found. And like anything, you evolve, you change, you grow in everything that you do, and you're in a season. So I'm in a different season. So what I want to suggest is look at the season that you're in. Is your family smaller? Is your family larger? Have you moved to a different location where the size of your stockpile / pantry storage area is different, and so on and so forth. Now, you've seen, for the most part, my stockpile. I have the closet. It's rather small. I used to also store things in another room and on another shelf and so on and so forth. I have food in several places. But the one that I show you in the closet got to the point where, let me go back 2 years ago with the pandemic. I had flour, and then I had bought an extra flour thinking, you hear everybody panicking. You got to get. So I thought, let me order a flour. So I did. Well, little did I know, within the next month, 6 weeks, somebody gave me some flour. Somebody else gave me flour. Now, what is it, like a normal 5-pound bag? So I had a couple of those, and then somebody gave me one. It was like, it wasn't 25 pounds, but I don't know how much it was. It was a big bag, but it was not 25 pounds. It wasn't as big as that, which was a huge blessing. Now, I'm not into the Mylar bags and the oxygen absorbers. Nothing wrong with them at all. I haven't used them. The oxygen absorbers I am considering getting into, but I have not as of yet. But I'm not one to store 25 pounds of bags of rice and oats and flour and all of that. I'm a family of 3 currently. Maybe an added person now and again. We will not go through 25 pounds of oatmeal, rice, and flour. I'll use those 3 in the next year. There are families that are large enough that need that because they go through that in a matter of months or maybe weeks. I don't know. I won't do that. Those things would last me a lifetime. Are they a good thing to get? Again, you've got to assess the season that you're in, the money you're willing to spend. Here's what happened is I had all that flour. I could only store so much in my freezer. Now you've got freezer space you're trying to store your meat in, and they want you to put your flour in there to kill off whatever. Okay, that's a great idea, but I can't store all of this flour that I had. Fast forward, I only can use so much. So for flour, if I have pancake mix on hand, I'm not going to be using flour. If I have biscuit items on hand, I'm not going to be using flour. If I buy something like an all-purpose thing like this, I can make waffles, I can make pancakes, I can bread chicken. What else can you do? You can make shortcakes, you can make scones. You can do all kinds of things with this. I'm not going to be using flour. So if I have crackers, I'm not going to be using flour. So what happened is I had all these other items and I wasn't using up the flour. Now I used it, but again, we're a small family, and maybe you're a family of 1 and you're going, yeah, I get this. You're retired and you're 1 or 2 people. You only go through so much. You can make a loaf of bread, but how many slices of bread do you honestly eat in a day? How many loaves of bread do you go through in a week? How much flour would you go through? And what had happened is 2 of the things, I didn't see bugs in the flour itself, but I had a cooler that I was storing, figuring it would keep out the mice and the rodents. I don't have that problem, but trying to be proactive, they would have to really nibble through something like a thick igloo cooler. And it was a great storage area, but the one day I went to take and rotate some of the stuff in there, and I saw something, and I said to my husband, ugh, I don't know about this. I didn't know. I had 2 things of flour in there. I don't know which one it came from. I opened them up out of curiosity. I never found anything. But then all of a sudden we started seeing some moths. And I just thought, enough is enough. Time to throw that out. Cut the losses. They were given to me. But if I had paid for them, that would have been money I had thrown out the window. So over the last couple of years, I've been trying to watch and see what I'm buying. Am I buying things that we use? Am I buying things that are practical for me? As much as certain things are a treat and you really like them, how often do you use them? For example, I picked this up, maple oat scones. It's a mix. I make my own homemade scones, but I thought this would be quick and easy. It was $3.99. What got me was, look at the delicious picture on the front. Does that not look delicious? And the title of it, Maple Oat Scones, got me. So I picked up 2 different types, this one and another one. I made the other one right away. This has been in my pantry stockpile since September or October. Now, the best by date or expiration date, and I'm not here to argue with you whether or not it is or it isn't good to use by a certain date. This is July 17th, 2022. Here's the problem I have, is I bought this in September. I forgot I had it. Will I use it? Not when I store it in my stockpile. So I've had to pull all of these items out and a few other things, and I've come to the realization of this was a treat. Should I have bought it? I probably could have made it on my own. It's great. It's nice. But you know what? It's not doing me any good in my stockpile. This is something I need to use up. Now, the best by date is July 11th. If it was sitting in my stockpile, it might be July 11th of 2023, 24, because it would get nestled in the back. I do go through my stockpile. I do rotate my stockpile and all of that. But I don't take everything out and I rotate it. Okay. There are different ways to rotate stockpiles. I'm not here to tell you how to do it, what's the best, or anything like that. I know for me, it's the way my brain works. I'm a very visual person. I need to see and know what I have. I'm also a very busy person. Now, you don't have to be busy outside of the home. You could be busy inside of your home. It's called living life. And you just get caught up in other things and you don't always have the time to sit there and go, let me pull everything out of my stockpile and put it all back to see what I need to rotate. So I made a simple decision. You know, I talked about a couple of videos ago, there's always a solution. And I had this mountain in front of me of a mountain of things that I was not using up quickly enough or on the regular, and they were starting to expire. Now, I do have the colored dot system, and that does work. But again, the mountain was getting bigger, and the solution I had was not covering some of those areas. So, two parts. One is what is currently in my stockpile. I will bring you an up-to-date stockpile video and let you see what I'm currently storing in there and why I've decided to do that on that video. On this video, it's what I'm not going to be storing in my overflow pantry, my overflow food, my stockpile for the future. I am not going to store instant potatoes. I'm not going to store bags of soup. I'm not going to store crackers. These things here expire quicker, and I need to use them up quicker. For me, I'd rather use this up now than wait until July and go, oh, I still have a few, whatever you want to tack onto this because it doesn't expire soon. Let me tell you, I've had packages of stuff like this, of soup, and they have a best by date. This one is May 24th of 2023. Okay, yes, you see my sticker, my you know, you can see the video on how I do that, and I put on there May 23. I just know me. If I wait till May 23rd of 2023, it's probably not going to get used, or it'll get lost in the shuffle or something like that. How many of you, after this 2 years that we've been through of a pandemic, have thrown food out because it either expired or something got into it? Or I've just opened packages of stuff, and I had macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese. It had not expired. But when I opened no, it wasn't macaroni and cheese. It was rice-a-roni. A rice-a-roni box. It hadn't expired. It had till May of this year. And this was in January when I opened it. So I had months to go. But the packet was funky. Like the powder, it was kind of clumpy, but the box was fine. The pasta and the rice inside were fine, but the packet was... So I used the rice and I used the pasta. And I decided to get rid of the packet, and I just added some extra seasoning and kind of made my own rice-a-roni mixture. But I have had that happen on a number of occasions. If you saw my one video about having a science experiment, yeah, I've had these things happen. I don't want that to happen. I had crackers that when we opened them, the best by date was there. We were still within reasonable amount of time, but you could taste that they were sort of getting stale. I don't want that. I want fresh food for myself. I'm worth it. I want fresh food for my family. They're worth it. So I'm just suggesting maybe reconsider things that you're storing in your long-term storage. Maybe reconsider, do you want to really store these types of things? If it's something that you're going to, like I don't use this product on the regular. I just don't. This was given to me, that's why I have it. This I purchased, it's the same product line, but I got this at the Dollar Tree, and it was cheese garlic biscuits. That's something my husband likes. We don't eat this on the regular. It was a treat, something to go as a side dish. But I'm not going to buy 20 of these and put them in my long-term food storage when I know I don't eat them on the regular. This would be something maybe once. If I liked it, I might get one more, put it in the stockpile. It's not like you're buying, I always use tuna fish as your baseline. It's not like you want to buy 20 cans of tuna. They're in a can. The mice can't get to it. No rodents can get to it. No bugs can get to it. You can put it in your pantry, your long-term food storage stockpile for a very long time and not have to worry. These are things that can go funny very quickly, even by the best by date. Sometimes things like this, they really just don't last, and you want to use them up. So maybe consider pulling them out of your stockpile, putting them into your everyday pantry, using them up more quickly, and then replenish them. So I have a small turntable in the lower end of my cabinets. I have redesigned how I'm doing storage in my kitchen, and I have found I put my everyday stuff like this, a couple of canned goods of vegetables, a few things here and there that I would use on the more regular. So when I want to do my menu planning or I want to create a meal for the night, that's where I go. I look to see what I have. I started doing this probably in November, tweaking that, and I've been very diligently just going to that area of the kitchen and using up the food that is in it. I probably got that down about 2/3 of the way. And, you know, you kind of feel like you got to have this stockpile. You got to have it filled. But it's not like I don't have food elsewhere. That is my everyday food. I got it down about 2/3 of the way. Made sure what was still in there was fresh. It was good. There was nothing funky in there. And now I can replenish it with all of these items and use them up. And then I can just make a list. You know what? I just use the last bag of instant potatoes. What happens if I don't have instant potatoes? You can use real potatoes. Not real, but, you know, fresh. You can use canned potatoes. Maybe you don't have potatoes. You can use pasta. You can use rice. There are alternatives. You're not going to die because you ran out of instant potatoes. So don't feel like when you're a family of 1 to 2 to 3 that you have to have, you know, hundreds of these bags of potatoes. You will be fine. But be reasonable with your finances and be reasonable with how much you're storing. Think through that. Don't make the mistake of buying, you know, 50 boxes of crackers because they go on sale. That is fantastic. But if you're a family of 1, are you really going to eat that amount of crackers? So be wise with your money. Be wise how you spend it. Be wise what you buy. And be wise how you store it and where you store it, that you are using your food on the regular. So these are the items I will no longer keep in my long food storage stockpile area, because for me, I just found I didn't use them up quick enough, and I just don't want to be wasting my money. Hope that helps. Hope that provokes some thinking. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Are you storing it in long term? Do you know, agree with me that for you, it just doesn't work? It just wasn't working for me. So you know what? We change it. Maybe next year things will be different. Maybe I'll change it again. That's part of the fun of stockpiling and just sharing different ideas with each other. Thanks so much for coming over, and we'll catch you all on the next video.